I totally, totally believe that all of us have at one time, at least once, screwed up our own budget. Let's talk about today. Even though we like to make frugal choices, sometimes we make some common budget planning mistakes or spending plan mistakes. Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Jan. Welcome to another episode on this channel, the Save Money and More with Jan channel. Thank you so much for being here. Nothing here is in any specific type of an order of importance because they're all screw ups and budget planning mistakes that all of us have made, I am sure, at least once. Maybe we realize it, maybe we don't, maybe want to admit it, maybe we don't. All right. Well, not having funds for an emergency. Because what? Emergencies are guaranteed to happen. I'm sorry, I hate to say it. It is a fact of life. Emergencies do and will happen at some point or another. So, not having funds for an emergency could really, really be a problem. That is absolutely a budget planning mistake. Not planning for an emergency. All right. Not creating a budget that, well, is realistic. This is where my favorite two words come together again: self honesty. You have to be realistic about your numbers. Well, you have to look at your numbers. Some people are petrified to look at their own numbers, and that could be a huge mistake. I've said that many, many times, and I don't mind saying it again. Don't be afraid of your own numbers. The only person you're hurting is yourself, especially by avoiding looking at your own numbers. Okay. So it's a piece of paper or on a screen and it's numbers, and it's between you and the numbers and a little bit of planning and a little bit of math. Sometimes we underestimate our own spending inadvertently. That's why it's really, really important to really, really get into your numbers, especially when you're not distracted. Being distracted is not helpful. You have to do it on a quiet situation or quiet moment of the day. Next, having no budget or spending plan at all. Do you realize that having no budget or spending plan at all can actually lead to overspending? There is no roadmap, there is no guide, there is no reference point. It's such a pleasure to look at your numbers and realize, oh, okay, I could fit this into my budget. It's not always about not being able to get or to do things. Quite the opposite. It's about knowing when you can. That's why I like the words spending plan. A lot of people say budget, spending plan, either one. It's very important to have it. However, but by living in denial and having no budget or spending plan, seriously, can actually lead to overspending. We don't want that. Okay. This may make things even tighter for a future plan. So you see where I'm going with that? It just might, ruin it for your continuous plan. We're on a continuum here on earth. We have to continue things. And if we want to continue on the right way and the right roadmap, let's not make it harder for ourselves, but make it easier. Now, conversely, building monies, building up a budget, oftentimes would encourage the person to go on to increase their income and all the good stuff that goes with it. You see where I'm going with that? Now, next, like anything else, it is so important to what? Periodically adjust your budget to things going on at the moment of now. Okay, that is really important. Uh, Things that might have been last month are not to be this month. Okay, every single month is different. Now, your income, conversely, may be the same every single month, although in some situations, or if not many situations, incomes vary. Even if they're doing the same thing every month, the numbers vary. Like what I do, for example, doing this. Do you think the numbers are exactly the same every single month? There are some months I want to go, and there are some months I'll go, okay, that's pretty good. You know, I that's how it works. Okay, as opposed to, let's say, when a person gets a fixed number on an income month in, month out. But however, the activities and the obligations per month change every single month. Now, you might have a situation where 3 months in a row were identical. And then all of a sudden, the next month, in the fourth month, it's like, huh? What has happened? You see where I'm going with this. The main thing is this: almost everybody at some point or another has, well, screwed up, messed up, made budget planning mistakes. Let's talk about budget buffer. Now, in the beginning of this video, I was talking about having an emergency fund. Basically, I call it this. It is this tiny version. A budget buffer is a tiny version of an emergency fund. I oftentimes use the comparison of a baby's crib. Remember those bumpers? What do you call that? Bumpers, buffers, bumpers. Those pillows that go all around. It's been so long to protect the baby from hitting their hand or their leg or their head against the hard sides of a crib. You have those, like that pillow thing that goes around. Those are bumpers. Or even like a bumper on a car. Well, look, budget buffer, okay? So it's a smaller form of protection. It is a great thing to have. It is a great thing to have for, let's say, a totally unexpected expense. Not like a huge thing, but just to keep a couple of hundred, $300 extra in your bill paying account. Okay, that we do your checks or your debits or whatever on that. Couple of hundred, 300, whatever. Always, all the time that something come up. Here's another one: people don't look at their bills. Okay, let's talk about this for a second, because people are so used to automatic paying of bills. They never look at their billing statement, hard copy. Even sometimes an email, they're not looking at it, even though they have the convenience of the email right then and there. Some people say, I don't want to get my mail. I don't have time. I don't want to deal with the paper. Blah, 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 blah. Meantime, a bill has gone up. Hmm. But you don't know that yet. And you have that bill automatically paid for, transferred over to pay for it. Good thing if you have that what? Budget buffer. First of all, one should always keep on top of their numbers. I'm just saying that even should be added to the list of common mistakes that people ignore the budgets. People ignore their billing statements, okay? So that's a big mistake. And if a person is just living cutting edge, very, very close, and they end up bouncing a check inadvertently, you see where I'm going with this? Fees, fees. Let's talk about fees for a brief second. There are so many transactional fees. You have to look at your bank statement. How much money are you spending every month on fees? Some people say just zero or whatever the number, one time a month fee or whatever it is. Some people's fees are in the, I can't even explain it, probably even in there over beyond 100 to 200 a month. Think of the things a person can do with that. Let's say a person spends about 200 a month on transaction fees. They could pay a utility bill with that. That's pretty sad. And if it's just like once in a while, it's bad enough. But imagine doing that every single month. We're talking about multiple thousands of dollars just going in the imaginary garbage can. Yikes. I'm sorry. So there are choices that we make as frugal people. We could be lazy. Frugal people are not lazy, frugal people are choosy. Frugal people take that minute. But if we're just learning how to become frugal and we're trying to set up a budget, it's understandable if certain mistakes are made. Even some of the most well versed people have made at least one of the mistakes I mentioned at some point in their life. And maybe they learn quickly to never do that again. And that's totally okay. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. As always, I really do appreciate everybody's time. Don't forget to come back tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Every single morning, I upload at 5 a.m. for some more budgeting tips and tricks and other frugal things. Yes, indeed. Have an amazing, fantastic day. Thank you.